don't know what opportunities are coming towards you that you have no idea about. You don't
And
know
isn't that
what
fun?
people the universe is moving around in your favor. You don't know what plans are up your life's sleeves. Like, you just don't know.
You don't know the things that you've already manifested, how much stuff needed to happen. It's not like you get the playbook after you receive the manifestation of like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened.
Hello, High Vibin It homies. Welcome back to another epic episode of your favorite spiritual personal development podcast. We are your hosts, Kelsey Aida and Lynnsey Robinson. If you're new here, welcome. If you're coming back, welcome back. Lynnsey, introduce yourself. We haven't introduced ourselves in a while.
Well, guys, I'm Lynnsey. If you don't know who I am, I'm a certified hypnotherapist, and I like to say subconscious activator because I help you rewire your mind for success, abundance, self-love, all the things. And I really love to do what I do, and we love to talk about ways to help you enrich your life, live a more high vibe existence, and just have fun.
Yeah. Lynnsey,
who are you, Kel?
Well, we have same goals, same values, but different ways of getting people there.
Exactly.
Right? So you're the subconscious master. You get in there and you help people fix all the things in the back of their brain. And then I'm more of like, I don't know how I would describe my work. Maybe it's more like the conscious work, the energy work, the body work, the emotion work. A little bit of subconscious mind, but I'm not a hypnotherapist by any means. I call myself a transformation facilitator. I also write books on affirmations, manifestation, law of attraction, self-love, all that jazz. And like Lynnsey said, we're here to help you live your best life, enjoy it to the most. Highest quality of life is what we are here for. And we're obsessed with spirituality, energy work, and all the high vibes.
And owning your power. With most of our episodes are like, here's how to own your power this week.
Yeah.
And it's like, this episode's going to be really great today.
Exactly. And today we're bringing it back to the crowd pleaser favorite topic of manifestation, which Lynnsey and I love to geek out on. We love to teach on it. We love to experiment with it in our own lives. And today we're talking about things that we wish we knew sooner, like in the beginning of our journey with manifesting. And not that the journey starts at any point because we're always manifesting, but I would say when we first started learning about manifestation and implementing it consciously, intentionally, on purpose, what we wish we knew back then that would have made the ride easier. So whether you're new to manifestation, whether you have been doing it for a long time, this is just going to be a really great episode. And let us know if you're on Spotify too. Did you guys know that you guys can comment on episodes? There's like some spot where you listen and it says, let us know what you thought about this episode or something. And then you can like drop us comments and we actually see those. And same goes for if you're on our Patreon, which is where you just pay a couple bucks a month to support the show. And you get video versions of each episode. You get extended versions of each episode, which they've been long lately, by the way. Our guests have been very generous with their time. If you're on patreon.com/highvibe, you can also comment on the episodes. So let us know.
And don't forget the best part. They get episodes a week early than regular listeners. So if you're on Patreon, you actually get early VIP access. So if you're listening to this on the Patreon, well done. If you're not, go join the fun people.
Yes, the VIPs, the HVI VIPs. It's like,
it's
kind of a complicated thing to say, but yes, we're here. We're talking about manifesting. We're excited. And it's hilarious because before we decided to record, before we started recording, we were going over like our talking points that we really wanted to make sure we didn't miss. And Lynnsey and I, of course, had the same freaking points. I was like
in the same order.
I was like, are you in my head? Mine's 1, 2, 3. And then she was like, mine's 1, 2, 3. And they were literally the same. And I was like, well, I guess those are the talking points for today. So.
Yep.
And that's why we have a podcast together. Because back in the day, before the podcast, we would have such juicy, magical, expansive conversations just as spiritual besties. And then when Lynnsey had the opportunity to have a show, and then she invited me on, and we started on Voice America and stuff, we were just like, this is so
early days.
This is so natural. We just chat on the phone all the time. We FaceTime for long periods of time too. Less now that we do the podcast every week, but we need to get back on it, honestly.
Yeah, we do. It's kind of my fault too. I've just been unpacking. I haven't really talked to anyone. I haven't been on social media. Like I've been so hermiting myself, just trying to get this house in order. For those that don't know, I just moved all the way across the country with my 3 kids and 2 cats and 1 husband and all of our stuff. And so it's been a bit of a thing, but yeah, I'm hoping that life gets back to normal soon and I can reconnect with all my favorite people. But I'm happy to have this time with you because this is honestly more than I have with really anybody besides my own nuclear family. But yeah, let's dive in. This is going to be so much fun and I can't wait. If we have these things on the top of our mind, hopefully these will be things that you guys have struggled with or maybe are struggling with. So this is going to be enlightening, hopefully, for everyone.
Sweet. Okay, let's start with number 1. Do you want me to introduce it or you want to introduce it?
Why don't you go? I'll do the next one.
Okay. So the first thing we wish we knew when we started our manifesting journey is that you don't need to think positive or feel good all the time. Like that's it, high vibes only. So AKA we're talking about toxic positivity, right? Mm-hmm. Where for one group of people, if you can embrace being positive in an authentic way, more power to you. Do that all day long. If it feels good, if it feels like relief, if it feels genuine and authentic, that is helpful. That's why law of attraction teachers tell you to do that. But if you're faking it, if you're putting on a show, if you're lying to your subconscious mind, if you are like having internal discord, right? That's not conducive to successful manifestation.
Lynnsey, thoughts? Yeah. The universe knows. You can't fool it. And you can't fool yourself. Like, we are such big advocates for feeling your feelings because at the end of the day, giving yourself time to feel really, really shitty is going to move you forward faster than trying to shove it down and ignore it. So yeah, I think there's tons of reasons that it's good to feel your feelings, but if you're just going off the manifesting aspect, like that's what's going to move you forward. When you give yourself time to rest, when you give yourself time to pause, all those things that feel like they are making you stall or halt are probably moving you forward because it's being authentic to what it is that you need. Anytime you're not being authentic to what it is that you need, that's where the stutters happen. That's where the delays and the frustrations and the discord, as you said, happen. So yeah, 100% agree with everything you said. And this one still, I think, is hard for a lot of people. I've only just recently, in the last few years, maybe kind of fiercely defended my need to be upset sometimes. And it's okay. And, you know, we don't have to stay there forever. You're not going to get stuck in the muck unless you kind of don't give yourself that space. But you'll find that you're getting over it way quicker when you allow that space. And so for me, it's just a win-win. But it is something that it takes some time to get really used to, for sure.
Well, and isn't there a book called Authenticity is the New Black? Or did I just make that up and it needs to be a book?
It sounds like it could be a book. I would like to read it if it is. Or you just came up with your next book.
Rebecca Campbell wrote a book that's like Light is the New Black or something.
I do. Yeah, that one is.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm thinking of, but maybe I need to write
Authenticity is the New Black.
Because authenticity is one of the most powerful frequencies that you can vibrate at. So whether you're enraged, whether you're devastated, whether you're heartbroken, whether you're joyous, expansive, excited, whatever it is, when you can fully connect with that emotion and let it process through you in a healthy way where you're not hurting yourself, you're not hurting anyone else, you actually become more powerful and more magnetic by owning that feeling, processing it. On the other side is always relief. Your vibration naturally raises back to a higher set point, and you've done almost like an energetic cleanse in a way that makes you more powerful, more magnetic. So yes, if you're feeling negative all the time, like you need to look at your life and your environment and your job and your partnership and like see what's not working so you can have a happy life and feel good majority of the time. But like the way I feel good majority of the time is when I feel bad, I go into it, I allow it, I let it pass through. And this works because, as we know, resistance is like the quote unquote enemy when it comes to manifesting, right? That's the only blockage you can have is one form or another of resistance. And resisting your feelings, your genuine, authentic experiences that are coming up for you in any moment, is a form of resistance. So you can't resist your feelings, no matter if they're good or bad, and then expect your manifestations to come, because you're still in a blocked, closed state. You're closed to yourself, but you're also closed to your life in that moment. So when you open and you allow and you don't resist anymore, then you're in a space of allowing your feelings. You're in a space of allowing your manifestations. And you have to allow your feelings, because they are the messengers that hold the key to what you actually want, right? So when you're angry, it's like, if you don't touch that anger and allow it to speak to you in your body, you might not come to the realization of like, oh, I'm angry because this boundary was crossed. Now I know this. In the future, I'm going to live in alignment where I'm expressing my boundaries, not letting it be crossed. Like each emotion carries a message and a personal truth that once you access it and unlock it, you can live in alignment with it, and your life just gets better and better. Like when you're sad that you're lonely, like that's pointing you to connection, but only if you listen, only if you feel it, only if you go into it, right? So that's my spiel. That's what I teach my clients, and that's what I want to share here.
Yeah, let's go into here's the thing. There's a lot of facets to feeling your feelings, okay? There's a lot involved with it. There's a whole episode. Didn't we do an entire episode on why you should feel your feelings?
Yes, and there's a meditation that we posted once that's called Feeling is Healing. I think if you go back into the episodes, there's a free meditation you guys can do anytime, and it guides you through it in real time.
Yeah. So, I mean, I would just, we'll try to post which one it is, but I know that we have an episode on it. But what I wanted to talk about first before we move on is, how can we give people, let's go into giving people, like, how do you know that you're processing your feelings and giving them space to process and not just like sitting in a bad feeling? Because that's not helpful either, to just be mopey and you ruminating. Exactly. So I would say, you know, you're processing them when you're getting curious and you're asking questions and you're actually engaging with it instead of just like letting it have its way with you, I guess.
Yeah. I guess like for me personally, at this point in the game that I've been practicing it for a long time, the way I can tell the difference if I'm ruminating or if I'm processing is how intense the emotion is and how quickly it's happening. So for example, like if it's less intense and it's more drawn out, that's probably a sign that I'm either like resisting it, or I'm just like allowing myself to like stay stuck in that feeling. But usually the more intense and the more quick it is, that's me like allowing it to pass through. And I'm just very sensitive, so my emotions can feel very like powerful and overwhelming.
Yeah.
So to me, that's kind of how I experience the difference. And it's not like the sexy answer of like, it feels better to do it the right way, but it feels like I'm more connected to it, and the intensity is more, but it lasts for a shorter amount of time.
Yeah. So for anyone who's not like seasoned, Kelsey is a seasoned veteran of this. Like she's advanced class, but if anybody's just like, well, how do I do this? What do I do? Honestly, where I would start is just, you're going to feel it. You're going to feel a feeling, and then you're going to say, what is this feeling? And you're going to probably label it. You're going to give it a name. I like to give it a place in the body. So like, where am I feeling my anxiety right now? Well, it's probably in my solar plexus, in my gut. And why am I feeling this? Now that might not come up right away, but you can ask different questions. Like, what would need to happen for this feeling to go away might be a better question to ask. Or where can I feel more safe? What can I do for myself to give myself safety? You know, that kind of thing. And just honestly, you may find just starting this practice and just starting to engage and open a dialogue with it, because that's really what it's about for me. I need to be able to communicate with it. I think you said that too, just connect with it in some way. And for me, that's asking questions and getting answers, because it just wants to be felt. It just wants to be felt. As Kelsey said, it's just a messenger. So it's your job to figure out what the message is. And once you have the message, it's going to naturally vent out anyway. So ask the questions. You may find that as you start this process, the questions will just come to you that you normally wouldn't have thought of anyway. And you know more than you think you do. so cliche, but so true. You really do know more than you think you do. So asking questions and just opening that dialogue, I think, is the best way that I've found to start letting that process happen. And yeah, it might be a little painful. It might be prickly, but it's not going to be forever. And you're going to be so much better for it.
Mm-hmm. Just got to trust us on this one. And
Yeah,
if you're scared, and if you're too scared to do it by yourself, that's why there's people like myself and a good therapist and a good
we
coach,
love to
good
help.
friend and a good mom, like people who can hold space for you while you're on the ride. That's helpful too.
Yes.
But I wanted to say, when you were talking about questions, one of my favorite questions when I'm in the feeling and I'm very connected to it is to ask, like, if this feeling could talk to me, like, what would it say? Like, do you have a message for me? And then just like listen and feel into it and see, because it might be very clear once you slow down to it. And then you're like, oh, okay, this is going to enrich my life so much. Thank you.
It's easy to, it's easy to not do anything about it when you assume that you're not going to get an answer. Like, every one of us has done this. Well, I don't know, and I can't figure it out. So whatever. But as we both said, I swear, if you start and open it and, have that openness to be able to get information, you will be shocked at how much information you actually can get. We could talk about this all day. We've done a whole episode. So please find it. We'll do our best to find it for you, but it's a good one. We love talking about this.
It's a message worth repeating. Authenticity is the new black. Gonna be my next book.
By the way, it's not a book. I Googled it. It's not a book, but it is an article. It's like a blog article. The only books I could find were like Authentically Black. So like Black empowerment, which is also great. But there's no, as far as I've seen, there's no book. Maybe you should read it. Copyright Kelsey Aida.
Proposal that I'm working on.
September 2nd, 2024 at 10:42 a.m.
Yeah,
Eastern.
Don't steal my idea. We'll know. We said it first here. Okay. Okay, so number 2 thing we wish we knew when manifesting, and I'll let you introduce this one.
Okay. Well, this is funny because Kelsey actually likes talking about this. She talks about this more than I do, and I talk about feeling a lot. So it's funny that we're switching roles. But the number 2 is, it's not going to happen overnight. Instant results, not a thing. And probably won't even happen on the timeline you're envisioning it. Kelsey, go.
Well, I call this, it's funny because I've been writing about this a lot in the book that I'm working on. Stay tuned because it's such a good law of attraction book, but I'm calling it Amazon Prime style. Like when you try to manifest Amazon Prime style and you just expect everything to come like the next day for free, no work involved. We just place the order, beep, 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 and then it shows up. Like, yes and no, right?
Yes and no, exactly. Yep.
Yes, because sometimes like you're really ready to receive, you're perfectly in alignment with the thing, and it's amazing. But half of the journey of manifestation is not just the creation, but it's the becoming aspect, right? And 90% of the time, the real reason why you want these experiences is because you want to become that embodied version of you who can have it all, who can receive it all, who can play with it all, who can create those things. So it's like that growth process of becoming takes time. The process of aligning with your desire can take time. And sometimes the process of creating the desire can take time on your end or on the universe's end. So I used to think in my novice manifestation days that patience was just for people who are out of alignment. I'm like, patience is so dumb. That's just for people who aren't in energetic alignment. Like,
really? You thought this?
Alignment, you don't need to be patient. Like, it will happen fast. And I still subscribe to this belief a little bit because logically it makes sense and I've seen it at play in my life. But some of the best things take the most time. And that's only because, like, how satisfying would it be if you didn't have to do anything for it?
Yeah.
It would be like, oh, this is so fun for 5 seconds. Moving on.
I would say the most common, maybe the biggest pitfall that you can get into when you're trying to manifest is wanting it how you want it and having no idea. Really, none of us can really know how much is being moved and put into place and reworked in the background for the thing that we want to appear. So there's 2 aspects, I think, to patience and to having that delay. Number one, you don't know what the universe is doing. You have no idea what the kind of crap it's pulling out in your favor so that you can have what you want. Number two, are you in alignment? I think that's also a big one, but it's like a two-pronged like thing. I think it's both of those things kind of working together, working for you, working with you, so that when it does arrive, all the pieces are where they're supposed to be. But for me, it's like, oh, well, just find me. For a long time, for me, it was like, find me a house, just get a house. Somebody put their house up for sale. Duh. What in the house we ended up getting, this woman was just, she's like 85, and she just got to a point where she couldn't live by herself anymore. So she had to go live with her daughter. And like, who knows how long it took 85 years for her to be like, here's a house, have it. So yeah, I think that there's two parts of that. And it's true with anything you want to manifest. And the little things can happen quickly. Like, I would love it, Kelsey, if you took this time to tell the story of the headphones again, because it's been a long time. And that is one of those instant things that I think
that was like more than instant. That was like pre-manifestation.
Yeah.
It was ready before I even asked.
We need things sometimes to prove to us that this is real, that this is something that works. So those instant manifestations, I think, can come in handy. But with the life-changing stuff, with the things that will really bring you to the next level of existence, I think it's just you're doing yourself a disservice to think that it's going to happen as quickly as the story Kelsey's about to tell right
now. The infamous headphone story. Okay, so if you've been with me for a long, long time, which I doubt any of you have been with me this long.
It's pretty much just me at this point.
Yeah, but this was a blog post that I wrote about like in the beginning days of KelseyAida.com. And by the way, if you haven't been on my blog, there's like a billion articles over the years that have accumulated on all of these topics. So if you like to read, go read. But there's one, I don't remember what I titled it, but I was telling the story of, so when I was younger and I lived in San Diego, I used to go to Disney all the time, and I had like a pass, and I would go with my boyfriend at the time, and it was
back when it wasn't $7,000 a person.
Yeah. And so I was at Disneyland one day, and this was when I was in the height of like my Abraham Hicks obsession, and we were standing in line at Space Mountain. I remember it very clearly, and the line was like over an hour because this was like summer, everyone's at Disney. Now I was just like, okay, we're in this line forever. My feet are hurting, but like, I'm happy to be at Disney. I'm happy to be with my boyfriend. Like, this is one of my favorite rides. Like, I love it. And I was like, the only thing that could make this moment even better was if I had a pair of headphones so I could listen to some Abraham Hicks while I'm standing in line, wasting my life away to go on this ride, right? So as soon as I had that thought, my boyfriend, I think what happened was he like squatted down to like relieve his feet. He was just like squatting down for a moment, and then he was like, oh, there's something pokey in my pocket, wait a second. And then he stands back up, and I had told him like the only thing that could make this better is if I had some headphones. So I said this out loud. He squats down, there's something like jabbing him in his pocket. He stands back up, and he's like, what's in my pocket? Takes it out. It's a pair of headphones that's been in his pocket of his shorts for who knows how long, who knows how many wash cycles these have been through, right? He had no idea these were in here. And this was like back in the day of like, when everyone used cord headphones, okay?
Yeah.
We're not talking about AirPods.
Right now. Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about old-fashioned cord headphones that stick into your ear. And he just like took it out of his pocket, was like, why the fuck are these in my pocket? Looked at me, and he was like, are you a witch?
Yeah. And you said,
are you a witch? And I was like,
yes, I am.
I mean, basically, yeah, you're welcome.
You're welcome.
You're welcome to me for being such a witch. And thanks for being a part of my co-creative process and having those headphones in your shorts for who knows what reason and how long they were in there.
I do love that story. And I know I have examples that I just can't think of right now, but we all do. We all have those examples where we're like thinking of something and then it happens, or we just know that, oh, this is a real thing. You just feel it. So in those moments where it's taking longer than you want it to, as Kelsey always says, do you want it now or do you want it better? Just try and remind yourself all the things that you have no idea are happening. And I think that's the biggest reminder for me is like, there is progress, even if I can't see it. Things are moving in the background, even if I can't see it. And that really helps me on the days where I'm feeling like it just needs to happen already. That can be a good reminder for everyone.
Because you don't know what opportunities are coming towards you that you have no idea about. You don't know what people the universe is moving around in your favor. You don't know what plans are up your life's sleeves. Like, you just don't know.
you don't know the things that you've already manifested, how much stuff needed to happen. It's not like you get the playbook after you receive the manifestation of like, oh, this happened, this happened, this happened. I mean, sometimes we get an idea, but there are things that have been happening for you since you were put on this planet that you still will have never know about, but they're all moving you in the right direction. It's just kind of such a cool concept to me. I love talking about this.
Well, so and from the genealogist perspective, because Lynnsey loves.
Oh, yes. She's a genealogist over here.
All the people that had to live in order for you to be a person now. I mean, that took a lot of time to create you, basically.
Yep. Like, all the things that had to go perfectly right for you to just be in this body. I have so many stories of like how my ancestors almost were in the wrong place at the wrong time, but like narrowly escaped. And I'm like, dang, that's nuts. And we all have those stories. It's so crazy. So cool.
Be cray.
Be cray cray.
Okay, moving on to the third one. Things we wish we knew when we first started manifesting. To recap, 1, you don't have to be positive all the time. You're welcome for that permission slip. 2, things can take time. So just get on board with that process and your life will go more smoothly. 3, I wrote, this is how I worded it, and Lynnsey had her own way to word it. I wrote, be more open, meaning like, be open to how it's going to look, like when it unfolds. And
you're in charge of the what, you're not in charge of the
happens.
how.
Like, be more open with the details. Of course, stay true to your desire and your genuine desire, but stay open in that process. And I think like for me, as someone who's a very specific manifester with very specific detail-oriented visions of what I want my future to look like, that can be hard because I'm like, well, this is what I've been visualizing. Why isn't it happening like this or whatever? And so I think it's just a good reminder to stay open, flexible, easy about it.
Yeah.
Not get so hung up on the details.
And I put it like this. The thing that you're trying to manifest is the feeling. It's not the thing. So I think that kind of, for me, that helps me stay open because like, what is getting this thing going to make me feel? And that's what I'm chasing. So are there multiple ways that I can get that feeling? Hell yeah. Most of the time, there's many, many ways. And again, things you haven't even thought of. So if you can just remember that it's always the feeling, it's always the feeling. I don't care if you want $1 million. It's the feeling you get from having $1 million. It's not actually the money. Never is. But if you can remember how that's going to make you feel or how that feeling you're trying to reel in as the manifestation, then it becomes clearer and easier maybe to stay open. I'm in charge of the what. I'm not in charge of the how. That's none of my business. That's the universe. And that just goes back to all the, the work that the universe is doing for you in the background for your favor, in your favor and for your highest good. So yeah, it's always the feeling. So if anybody wants to explore this further, just think about the thing you're trying to manifest or, have a little journaling session and just think about what that thing is. And the thing is one thing usually, right? Like I want a house or I want a romantic partner or I want money. One thing. The amount of feelings you're going to get from that one thing is at least like 5 to 10. So you'll be maybe a little bit surprised with how many feelings you're going to be getting out of this. But write them all down and then find ways. There's 2 parts to this, and I might be going off topic, but it's fine. There's 2 parts to this. You're going to write down all the feelings and you're going to tap into what those feel like. And then we also, Kelsey and I, love to look for ways in our lives where we already have that feeling and then become more aligned with that feeling. So when you can recognize, oh, I already have abundance in my fridge, you can get more on board with that feeling and therefore attract it to you faster, right? Because you've now become an energetic match to the thing that you're trying to attract. I know you got stuff to add, I can tell.
Yeah, well,
I'm excited.
In agreement with everything you just said, I'm going to add more layers and more verbiage to it because I've actually been writing about this a lot in my new book. And for anyone who's like, what's this new book? It sounds good. Just make sure you're on my email list. So when it comes out, you'll be in the know. So I'm going to link to like a freebie or something in the show notes so you can get on the email list. But basically, it's a book about blockages, resistance, and alignment. And there's a whole chapter that I'm writing about like what I call your service desires and your genuine desires, which is exactly what Lynnsey's talking about. So each goal has a goal of the goal. Okay. So like your goal of marriage or your goal of, the house or your goal of better health has goals behind it, right? So a great question to ask yourself is like, okay, so I know I want this thing, but what's the goal of that goal, right? What's the feeling I want to access with that I think that having that circumstance in that perfect way is going to grant me access to that feeling magically. Like, what are those feelings? Those feelings are your genuine desire. That's the part that's guaranteed to you by the universe. That's the part that you should never lose sight of, and you should never try to unwant it or change it. Like, stay true to your genuine desires. The things that you want, the experiences that you want, I call those your surface desires, and not in a negative context.
Not a superficial desire.
That's so surfacey, you shouldn't want it. No, you should still want it, but there's just layers under that, right? So the surface desire is the thing, the goal, the main goal. The genuine desire, deeper than that, is the goal of the goal, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the verbiage that I like to put to it. And I like to encourage people, like, manifest the genuine desire directly, and then the surface desire will come as a side effect of alignment.
And that's the thing that you want to be open about, because that can come in many ways.
Exactly. So like, stay true to your genuine desire. Stay open to the surface desire, how it's going to look, how it's going to play out, because the universe could have something way better in store for you. Maybe you don't have a great imagination, or like you just don't know, like how we were talking about before. So stay open to the surface desire being maybe a little bit different than what you thought, but do stay true to your genuine desire and manifest that directly, because that's what I call instant manifestation. If you're like realizing, oh, what I'm really after is relaxation, let me just take 20 minutes to relax. Boom. You don't need to change your whole life. You don't need to manifest all these things. You just chose to be in that vibrational state now, which is honestly so easy sometimes. But we just decide of that because we get so attached to the surface desire. And we're like, I'm not going to let myself feel how I want to feel until that thing comes. And that's just not a great approach, but we all do it.
And going off the relaxation example, which I think is a great, easy one to like fix in the moment. But if you find yourself like just as a more stressed out person, it might be more of like, how do I create a more relaxing lifestyle for myself? What are things I can just do regularly? And chances are you're not doing any of them. So when you start doing a couple of them, you may find that your whole attitude, your whole outlook, your whole perspective kind of shifts in a good way, because you've actually started implementing easy things that you can do. And that's, self-driven manifestation. You don't even need the universe for that.
Right.
You just do it.
That's just instant right there. I want to feel like this. Oh, I'm going to let myself feel like that. And I'm going to do things that cultivate that feeling. And
what a concept.
Would you look at that? Unconditional living. That's what we like here on High Vibin It.
Do we have time for like a bonus?
Yeah, but I was going to save it for the Patreon.
Oh, let's save it for the Patreon. Okay, that's a good one. I'm sorry, guys, but if you join the Patreon.
If you're not in the Patreon, then I'm sorry, you're just going to miss out on number 4.
It's a good one, too.
HVI VIP to get this super juicy information behind the very, very small paywall. So don't be like, oh my God, they're charging for this information. No, it's like literally a few dollars. So
it helps us keep the lights on.
Yeah. And eventually, hopefully, we can hire an editor and make the podcast even more valuable for you guys, even better, high quality. Like right now, we're just bootstrapping it. We are just solopreneur all the way, doing everything ourselves. But eventually, our vision for this podcast is to have a team who's producing it, to do it in person, to have video. Like, we're going to take this all the way, but we need your guys' help and support. So if you want to help and support, definitely make sure you're subscribed. Always share your favorite episodes with your friends and family to spread the word.
And those are free. So you could do that.
And for free. Join our Patreon for a couple bucks a month, and you will not regret it. So you'll get way longer episodes, video versions, and all sorts of fun
early access.
Early access every week. You get or every episode, I should say, which is every other week. You get it a week before the public.
Yeah.
So join our Patreon, patreon.com/highvibe. Other announcements would be that I'm hosting a retreat, which you've probably heard unless you skip the beginning of every episode. So don't do that. But if you haven't heard it, I should say, it's in Mexico, Puerto Vallarta. It's going to be a great time. It's called Radical Self-Love. It's for women, and it's really to help you just align with your highest self, heal, expand, play, grow in paradise. So if you want to do that with me, you can join at the link in the description. I'll put it in there. And the early bird pricing is still in effect for a little bit longer. So don't sleep on it. It's going to be awesome. Any other things that they need to know?
I just want to refer people to my membership as always. It's always got some good new stuff in there.
What's new? What's like the latest that you added in there?
Well, I'm actually going to be adding some more stuff in the next couple of days. I would love to do like an extended, I get requests all the time, so I have to go through all my requests and add some more stuff. But the coolest thing that I am really loving right now are the toolkits, which are basically curated like packages that are all included in the membership, but it comes with hypnosis obs. I got all kinds of hypnosis audios in there. Comes with hypnosis audios and practices like worksheets you can do that actually reflect what's the topic of the toolkit. So there's one for inner healing. There's actually two, part 1 and part 2 for inner healing. There's a manifestation one. It's called Manifesting Maven. There's a money makeover. There's mindset detox. There's all kinds of them. There's tons and tons and tons. And I'm always making more stuff. I need to actually put more stuff in the Patreon too, because we talked about doing that. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. Go to the membership, lynnseyRobinson.com. You'll see links there. And if you like me and like how I do things, then you'll love the membership. If you like me or like my work, you will love the membership. And there's also a community in there of other members that you can kind of vibe off of and get support and connection from in that way. And then also, I'm probably going to be taking a couple clients around October, maybe September. So if you're interested, go to lynnseyRobinson.com, fill out an application, and we will talk. But I'll probably only do like 2 clients. I'm not looking to have a overloaded holiday season, but if you really want to start rewiring your mind for success and abundance and all the things, you want to be a client. It's super fun, and we get a lot done. So love you guys. That's pretty much it. And I'll see you in the Patreon, hopefully.
We'll see you guys on the other side. Just to recap, don't forget, be open. Things take time, and you don't have to be positive all the time. So, yay.
See
you guys in the next episode.